Adhikari, the problem is Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary seems to have made a habit of getting his foot in the mouth. Earlier, he called the ED idiot. Again, he says it's a Bengali accent, therefore. He seems to be a bit of a repeat offender. In 2019, December, he called the PM and the HM as infiltrators. No, never mind that the Prime Minister has been elected to the highest land office of the land. Again, earlier in 2019, he compared Mr. Modi to Gandhi Nali. If Mr. Chaudhary is saying this is a slip of the tongue, he doesn't know, he's not well versed in Hindi, then either he should stick to Bengali or he should accept that he is a repeat offender, because it's not just one instance, it's not just this latest instance. He's got a pattern of this behavior.
Absolutely, Shakha. And Mr. Chaudhary must realize that being a member of parliament with some greater power comes greater responsibility. And when you're a member of parliament, there's a certain decorum that you should behave in. Just because you're in the opposition and you wish to, target the primary party in power or the people who are involved in the primary party in power, that is not the language. And today, the boundaries were crossed when you refer to the president of the land like this. The president of India, the president of the nation is the first citizen, as we all know, the apex constitutional authority, and that too, a woman. In that respect, referring to Rashtrapati and looking at the fact, as you rightly pointed out, the history that Mr. Chaudhary goes in saying, once it can be a slip of tongue, always it is not a slip of tongue. Exactly. It is a habitual offending habit. And I must say here also, even though any political party is referring to, like now Madam Shama Mohammed referred to one lady, Nirmala Sitharaman, she's a finance minister of this country. She's a cabinet minister. Some degree of respect everyone commands, and when they are holding a certain office when they're holding certain office and they are elected by the people of this country. So we must all realize that there is a certain decorum, there is a certain line to be drawn. And every time you cannot, bypass by saying that, oh, mere se bhool ho gayi. हर बार जब भूल होती है तो वो भूल नहीं होती, वो जानबूझ के की गई गलती होती है.
Okay, I want to go to Brinda Adige and to Saira Shah Halim. Saira Shah Halim, what happened subsequently after this comment by Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, and of course there was total hangama inside Parliament. It took a slightly wider turn where Sonia Gandhi reportedly then tried to reach out to a senior BJP leader, Rama Devi, who I believe was at the chair at that time. In between, Smriti Irani, as Sonia Gandhi was walking up to Rama Devi and trying to have a conversation with her, Smriti Irani intervened, to which the BJP claims, you heard Ms. Sitharaman talk about it, you heard Piyush Goyal talk about it, they say that Sonia Gandhi turned around and told Smriti Irani off by telling her, don't talk to me. Have things come to such a pass in Parliament, Saira Shah Halim, that two parliamentarians cannot have a civil conversation with each other?
You're right, Zaka. I mean, this comment was absolutely inappropriate. It is definitely not only casteist, it is class defined as well. But here he has apologized. So even if we give him the benefit of doubt, I think people in high offices or people who are ministers or political leaders need to be a little careful with their verbiage. Whether it's a slip of tongue, supposing I'm not fluent in a particular language, I need to speak in the language that I am completely comfortable with. Otherwise, I will not speak in that language at all. So I think this is something that one needs to be careful about, because repeatedly you can't keep making the same mistakes again and again. And at the same time, I think BJP does not have a moral high ground to talk about misogynistic comments or casteist comments, because they themselves in the past have made comments like 50 crore ki girlfriend on Mr. Shashi Tharoor's late wife. And also, there have been several comments on Sonia Gandhi as well. Congress ki vidwa, oh, she was a bar girl, oh, she was this, and oh, she was that. So this whole culture of demeaning women has to stop, irrespective of whichever political party you come from. I think it is appalling. It is highly disturbing when you put women, in such an uncomfortable position. And
what is particularly worrisome, and I want to ask Brinda Adige this. This has now become a she said between what Smriti Irani reportedly, her intervention, and what Sonia Gandhi reportedly told her. I don't want to get into that. What has happened as a net consequence of this is that Parliament has simply stopped doing the one job it has to do, which is to discuss and debate the pressing issues of the day. First, it was the opposition that wanted a discussion on price rise and GST. The government was waiting for the finance minister to come back. It did not happen for 3 days. Now, today, the BJP has, of course, latched onto this issue of what Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has said. Again, another day of parliament has been wasted. Net, the loser, the biggest loser in this is the average taxpayer of India, who is paying 2.5 lakh rupees for every minute of parliament to function, and it hasn't functioned all week.
You're absolutely right, Zaka. And the saddest part is that we can't hold these people accountable. We have elected these people to go there, and they do not even have that much of a ethical behavior sense to speak to each other with respect and with dignity. And we're talking of women, where women themselves are talking about other women or being disrespectful to other women in the parliament. And here we are talking about 50% reservations that we want for women. Like you mentioned, almost 20 lakhs per minute, per day, that we are spending inside over there. When will the parliament have the guts to pass the law, right to recall? I think the mother of all democracies is ready for that law. It's this kind of behavior by elected representatives, by people who we believe to talk on our behalf, to make policies on our behalf, and to actually look after the people who've elected them into power. And if they go there behaving literally unruly people.
Okay,
unruly.
Let me go back to Dr. Shama Mohammed. The point that RP Singh made, we don't know what exactly happened between Sonia Gandhi and Smriti Irani, but if this was reportedly said that Sonia Gandhi told Smriti Irani off by saying, "Do not talk to me," I want to ask a basic question. Is it a problem that two women parliamentarians have a conversation? I mean, or is it that, as RP Singh said, the Congress is suddenly getting rattled because this week Sonia Gandhi was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. A few weeks ago, Rahul Gandhi was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. It's almost like people who cannot be brought into the ambit of investigations have been done so over the last few weeks, and that's why the Congress party is so rattled.
I'm going to come to that. First, I want to tell Mr. Adhikari that Mrs. Nagavalli Sitaraman, she is not elected, she's nominated. Remember that. Now, let me go back to you. Mrs. Gandhi went up to a BJP member of parliament who she knew for years, Rama Devi, to speak to her. And then Smriti Irani came to heckle her with the rest of them. Heckling is something which has never happened in our parliament. When she heckled her, she told Smriti Irani that I'm speaking to Miss Rama Devi and not to you. And that's when Mrs. Irani said, you don't know who I am. I mean, this sort of arrogance. Because this is one thing. Mainly the talk today, the drama which we saw of Smriti Irani is basically to divert the attention from the bar restaurant scandal, which is a
again, I
huge
keep coming back to the point. It's not like she told Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary to say what he said. So I'm not getting how the two are connected.
Let me finish. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, I have mentioned to you that he has apologized. That's one aspect. The other thing why Smriti Irani did this is to wake up, because she is the Women and Child Minister. When Hathras, a girl was cremated, her parents did not see. Smriti Irani's big mouth was shut. Now, when her own MLA was raping a girl, her mouth was shut. When Kathua, an 8-year-old girl, was raped for a week, her mouth was shut.
Shama, you're not answering the question that I'm asking. I'm asking a very